I work at Qrypt, which is another quantum random generator company. And our differentiator in this industry is that we are designed and manufactured in the United States. So our founders come from the CIA and have a mission to prioritize uh, national security and eventually sell back to the government. So this is where we differentiate ourselves. Um, our licenses are, sorry, our QRNG technology is licensed from Oak Ridge and Los Alamos National Labs. So all designed and manufactured in association with United States labs. So the goal of this presentation is I actually want to explain to you a little bit of background on how our company's evolved over the past year. So we were founded in 2017, very much research and development. We have two pieces of intellectual property. We have our QRNG, and we have a protocol, a software-based protocol that attempts to add harvest now, decrypt later protection to PKI. Well, from 2017 till about a year or two ago, we were developing these, but we're having a lot of trouble figuring out how to take it and actually provide value to users because it was very niche. It was difficult to consume. It came in like an SDK, and you can't really take that and give it to somebody and say, "Oh, go protect your system with this SDK." So it was very difficult to find out how to actually get this out to people. Well, lucky for us, over the past couple of years, there's been a lot of advancement in standardization, and we have figured out how to, okay, package this up in a standard and get it out to people that way, and then they'll be able to use it. So advancements in standardization have really helped us find product market fit and adapt our products so that we can provide value, tangible value to people. So talking about random as a building block for all of this, I think Roy from Quantinuum did an excellent job of explaining it and completely agree with everything he says. I'm going to add to that and say that in addition to worries about the quality of the random, there's also worries about entropy starvation. So you see this a lot in IoT devices or hardware that just isn't good at generating high quality random. There's a very very famous study from Key Factor that we love to quote that basically scraped a bunch of public keys from IoT devices and found like 1 in 172 share prime factors. So like there is out there a vulnerability with random now, and due to quality and not having enough of it, and this industry, this QRNG industry with Quantinuum, with Qrypt, with all these other vendors are going to be able to solve a lot of problems. And I think working together, the a rising tide, raises all ships. So I think we're kind of all in this together. And when these vulnerabilities start to be found, there's going to be more demand for random than there's vendors going to be out there to be able to supply. So we have actually been collaborating with some other vendors, Quantinuum being one of them, and other QRNG vendors led by Palo Alto to establish a standard for how to consume entropy. And the result of this is we're calling it an open API. It is going to be a REST API to consume entropy, and all the vendors will implement it so that the users aren't going to have vendor lock-in. They're not going to have to worry about if I use Qrypt and then a flaw is found that I can't pivot to another company, or if I'm using company Y and who's a startup and they're not around in 2 years, am I, locked in and in trouble? Well, having the standard is going to be great to reduce that risk. And then we're hoping that a lot of the technologies that random will be integrated into, think of like firewalls, HSMs, all, any technology that could benefit from random, we'll see that there's a standard and start building first class integrations for. So We serve our entropy in three ways, starting at the right and working to the left. We have our QRNG. So this is a PCI card. This technology is licensed from Los Alamos National Lab, and it plugs into a server and gives you about 1.7 gigabits of condition random. For people that don't want to take one of these and plug it into a server, we basically put it into a server for you, and we implement a nice that open REST API so that you can access it via REST within your your data center. I think that most people that are worried about entropy quality are going to want to deploy QRNGs locally within their data center. They're not going to pull it over the public internet, and that's what NIST is suggesting. But we also have this as a SaaS. So, over the public internet, hit our API and get some random down. I actually see the SaaS being valuable for maybe non-cryptographic purposes. Think about like in gaming, procedural generation of, random environments or Monte Carlo simulations where it's okay to pull the random over the public internet and not have a security flaw. I think that's where we'll see use of our SaaS in the future. Our other product is digital QKD. So you heard some vendors talking about QKD, and let me just say that we are big believers in QKD. We see the progress that's been made overseas and think that is coming to the United States. So how can we help a organization, implement QKD? Well, we know that QKD devices can be expensive. They can be they are growing in maturity, and we want to figure out a way to allow people to start to test QKD now with a software implementation. So basically, a software that implements the same software API so that they can test, they can grow from it, and then they can decide, okay, I'm ready to switch this digital QKD for actual, to use QKD and quantum phenomenon. Now, when they do that, there's going to be still gaps that QKD cannot overcome, such as disimplementations. So organizations are going to need an alternative to cross-country connections. And they're going to need some kind of software that implements the same API, but uses classical mechanisms to exchange private data. So this is where our BLAST protocol comes in, which is, as I was explaining, a layer of harvest now, decrypt later protection on top of PKI. If you want to talk more about this to me, I would love to. Feel free to reach out. My name's Kenneth Huebsch, and I'm Qrypt.com, and thank you for your time.